Hello, Internet. This is Kopitiam Council, and today you are with Haffisz and
Yes, with me, Adi. Today we're back in the usual setup. I hope you all enjoyed the spectacular show we had over at KL Podcast Studios. Hopefully, we can do more of those in the future.
yes, definitely. And today, as you can see, it's not just Haffisz and Adi, but also we have a special guest for today. And today we have Adam Ariffin. He is the Puchong Chief Parliamentary for MUDA. So he also an entrepreneur. And the rest, I'm going to leave it to Adam to introduce himself. So maybe 1 minute, Adam, to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Haffiz. Thank you, Adi. Of course, just to echo what they mentioned, I am the Ketua Parlimen for MUDA Puchong, representing Parti MUDA. I've been a member of the party for good 2 years now, and I've been taking care of my kawasan or my constituency in Puchong, which is part of the state of Selangor, since 2022. So, Alhamdulillah, I think things have gone well when I've taken care of Puchong within my capacity in Parti Muda and especially in Muda Selangor. But of course, this much has changed after the state election last year in Selangor, particularly. So things have gotten a bit quieter. People have been reading a lot of news about Parti Muda, or more in particularly the person himself, Syed Saddiq. But of course, I think there'll be questions later on, which they will prompt me during this podcast. Yeah.
And I think just to add, this is the first time we have had the pleasure of having Adam on Kopitiam Council.
Yeah.
We did an episode, I think, about a year or two back, leading up to the last general
Yeah,
elections. So it's great to
correct.
have Adam back here on the
Yeah.
on the show again.
Correct. Remembered. Yes.
All right. So we get all that out of the way. Why don't we just jump right into what we're going to talk about with Adam Ariffin today? So, Adam, you're representing MUDA. By the way, whoever wants to be on the podcast, Kopitiam Council, whether you're from UMNO, PH, or whatever the party, please just reach us because we want views from all the parties available. And first question for you, Adam, where is the direction for MUDA heading with Syed Saddiq joining up with PN Roadshow? I was quite shocked when I saw that on my feed. And wow, is this the world that we're living in? Syed Saddiq with Perikatan Nasional. What do you respond to that?
Well, I mean, just to clear the perception that the social media and the netizens have been getting it, both on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, Syed Saddiq is not officially joining Perikatan Nasional. It was more like he was being invited by the president himself, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, and the Bersatu Supreme leaders also to join this walkabout or this jelajah after Hari Raya, because I think Raya this year is next month in April. So most likely around the month of May, that the whole Perikatan Nasional Jentera is inviting Syed Saddiq to come on board and just jalan sekali lah around Selangor and some parts where Perikatan Nasional are currently holding their state assembly, and other places where Pakatan Harapan are holding their state assemblies as well, especially here in Selangor. He is just being invited, but he hasn't openly said that he's joining them or walking with them anytime soon. So we just have to see the official announcement from Syed Saddiq himself and also from Parti Muda's top leadership. Yeah.
Okay, on that note, let me just pick apart here is that, of course, you said that Syed Saddiq doesn't really have that many plans to join up with Perikatan Nasional, but a lot of the perception seems to be going in that direction. What is MUDA planning to do to kind of dispel this perception? Because I haven't really seen much in terms of like press statement of what is going to happen here. So maybe you can give some clarification there.
Well, our own Setiausaha Agong, Amir Hadi, and some of the leaders also, and some of the members in Parti Muda were openly against it. Some, they put their statements in Twitter, some through WhatsApp and through other means necessary to ensure to dispel whatever perspective that people are getting that Syed Saddiq is lompat party or jumping into another wagon after what happened to him with his court case. But of course, at the end of the day, he is still a party man. He still belongs to Parti MUDA. So any actions, any words that he say still reflect on the party. But you see, there are two sides to look at about this. One is that he's still representing Parti MUDA because he is the co-founder, and even though he stepped down as president, he is still a member of the party that he co-founded. The second way of looking at it is that it's more on a personal capacity. It's really up to him. It's really up to his own agenda that he wants to achieve, whether he wants to join Perikatan Nasional or not. So there are two ways of looking about this. For me personally, if I was him, I would try to ensure that whatever people are saying that he's going against the party's principles, he should clear that out. But at the same time, if he wants to join the Perikatan Jelajah or Walkabout, he can actually. But of course, shouldn't be in the capacity of MUDA. He should be by himself only, like being invited. It's like going to an open house, but you're not representing any affiliation or any NGO or party whatsoever. So that's my perspective on it lah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Following from that, Adam, like you said, okay, this is maybe individual decision by Syed Saddiq. So
Yeah.
are you also saying that there's a faction in MUDA that one is belong to Amira, which is rightly the president of MUDA, and the founder of the party itself? So do you see maybe in the future it become even more tense? Amira versus Syed Saddiq, is it on the horizon?
Well, I wouldn't go out and say there are Camp Syed Saddiq and Camp Amira. It's more like Syed Saddiq is pretty much doing his own things already, doing things his own way or how he wants to do it, and without people basically checking up on him from time to time, now that he is no longer the president of Parti MUDA. So that's why, to like resonate back when I just mentioned that if his own personal capacity, then it's up to him, whichever open house he wants to go to, whichever party he wants to join hands with, is really up to him. But the thing is that he's still a member of Parti MUDA, so he still needs to respect and toe the line and also align also with the party principles of the party that he co-founded. For Amira, she's only the interim president. There's so much that she can do. And ever since when she took up the post also, this year also, and even late last year, a lot of things that she had to brush up on and everything she needs to amend by step, including the internal party election that we'll be doing very soon, probably by closer to the end of the year. This is definitely after Raya. So members come and go. It's normal. People step down, people resign, people move into other things, people into find other priorities aside from the party they're originally from. But in the case of Syed Saddiq, it's more like, I'll do what's best for me. I'll do what I feel that I need to survive. Because even though I'm still the current member of parliament in MUA of Johor, and whatever he can do, he will do the best of can before the next general election, which is in 2028. So it's only a few years more. So that's pretty much all I can say lah on behalf of Syed Saddiq. Of course, this is something that you only need to ask him personally lah. His real answer. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, since in a way you kind of painted him sort of like a free agent, maybe we can see him joining Gabungan Rakyat Sabah. Who knows? Jump over to Sabah. Yes, a lot of fans here.
Yeah.
Okay, but just moving on to that. Okay, we talked about the party elections itself. How can you just go through us the process for how MUDA's party elections actually works, and do you have any predictions that you might have coming up to the election?
Okay. We had our first ever official party launch. I think was in Bangsa, in Connexion South, I think. Bangsa South, back in 2021. This was during the second year of COVID. And then where new members have registered in, and even existing ones also attended the official launch, including YB Hanayo was also there as well. But moving forward, it has been 2024, a good 3 years now. A lot of the members that attended that launch are no longer around anymore. So I guess this whole internal party election that we get to do, our first ever for Parti MUDA, it's more like in an approach of cleansing. It is also in the approach of like getting new members in and pretty much moving out the ones that are no longer want to be active in the association for that matter. So I guess it happens to all parties. I mean, look what happened in PKR and even in PAS as well, when they have exodus of ex-members as well have moved out and joined other alliances. So same case with Parti MUDA. We are a very small party. When we first launched, I think due to the Banjir back in December 2021, we had a close of registered members of 80,000. Now it's probably like less than 10,000 active ones, you know, if you were to count with your fingers. But I mean, rest assured that once this internal party election gets underway, with the new system in place, a new voting system as well, where people get to do it online or probably go physically at the particular physical event, wherever it may be, then we might see new faces as well. Not new faces in members, in the Akar Umbi, but more in the top leadership as well. I mean, I don't know. We never know. We might have a new president, we might have the same president, or we probably have some, I don't know, new faces to take care of the states in Malaysia, including Sabah as well, since we have a lot of co-founders from Sabah as well. Yeah.
You talk about cleaning up the party and whatnot.
Yeah.
What is there to be clean, Adam? Maybe you want to spill something for us, because MUDA this is their first ever election, and I for the life of me I can imagine what's baggage that MUDA already has.
I think when I meant cleansing, it's in a form of like removing the inactive members or members who hold a certain personal agenda against the top leadership. And with that vendetta, they feel they don't serve the party anymore, so it's best they move on. But they're still reluctant and a bit degil also to keep their membership. So with this new internal party election, we get to do some form of like rejuvenation, rejuvenasi parti secara dalaman. So I'm looking forward to it. And also for the rest of the active members who do get to listen to this podcast, especially representing Parti MUDA, if people have ambition to rise up in the leadership, now's the time. But the thing is that a lot of things also they still need to fix, like their own constitution, or as then they say, pelembagaan, right? So I guess that's one way lah. If I meant cleansing, in that sense, there are a lot of documents and paperwork you also need to go through, because to form a political party, to run a political party, you need a lot of funding, you need a lot of SOP. If you don't have funding, you don't have SOP, you cannot run a political party, let alone NGO or association. So I guess people who runs an NGO would resonate what I'm saying. So I guess that's one way lah, in a form of cleansing lah. Yeah.
Okay. Just zooming in a bit on, you said cleaning out MUDA punya house, getting your house affairs in order. But let's talk about your kawasan here, Adam. Since you are, you operate in a particular constituency in Puchong. I just want to know, okay, since you have quite a bit of experience already jagaing this kawasan, taking care of this area, what is your outlook on the current situation in Puchong? Like, what is in dire need right now, and what kind of changes are you hoping to see in your kawasan?
I guess this was something that me and my G5 in MUDA Puchong, we have mooted and we have surveyed and even collaborated ideas together. One of the things that we want to see improvements, before I mention the things that's happening now, but the things that I want to see improvement is that aside from the terrible congestion and traffic jam that we are facing here in Puchong, because Puchong is very big, Puchong stretches for closer to about, I think, 30 kilometers from one end to another. And then the exit points, the people who are living in Selangor, who have been residing here for so many years, would know that anywhere, if I were to go out of Puchong, I need to pay toll. So I need to like spend about close to 4 to 6 ringgit daily coming in and coming out. So it's a bit of hassle, or in Chinese they say mafan lah, right? In Cantonese. So I guess in order to reduce the burden of the rakyat or the penduduk living in the Puchong area, this also includes Kinrara, I would say the suggestion that we came about in my G5 and MUDA Puchong was actually to develop a third road without toll that actually cuts through out of the Puchong and actually enter into Petaling Jaya or into Subang. So that was the idea I thought of. That would be very good, and that would also resonate a lot of the grievances and a lot of the concerns that the penduduk in Puchong are facing, because wherever they go, they always need to fork out so much money. They have to top up their touch and go all the time, so this is where it really burdens and tighten the wallets also for a lot of the people there. So I guess that is probably the major concern. The smaller minor ones like kebersihan, traffic, theft, this is something that we can in a way fix it from time to time. This is something that we have to work with MPSJ. But the things that I am observing in Puchong right now, people who are listening in this podcast, who are living there, would know that the current YB Yobiin, I think she's doing a relatively good job, although she mostly catered to the late 40s to the late 60s kind of demographic. For the youngsters, not so much. They probably just follow maybe the DAPSI, which is the pemuda of DAP Selangor, especially for some of their community work and things like that related to the Pusat Khidmat in Puchong. But other than that, she doesn't really represent the young people there in Puchong, let alone the demographic in terms of bangsa lah, Malay, Chinese, and Indian. So everything is doing okay lah so far, Puchong.
Now we heard your plan for Puchong, and what would, because you are eyeing for a top spot in MUDA as well, right? So maybe
I'll be honest, I am. Yeah.
So just to make it clear to all your listeners here who will be listening to this, what could you bring to the table as if you were to get elected as a top higher rank in MUDA?
Okay, I think before I jump into that, I just want to mention a little bit on the previous podcast I did with my friend of mine who's also a member of Parti MUDA. I did mention is that before you run for elections, before you letak nama sebagai calon di mana-mana negeri, doesn't really matter in Sabah, Sarawak, or even in Semenanjung, you must do some substantial work that people can actually look up and find out what you have done so far. Kalau setakat ni you haven't done much, then you cannot justify yourself to run as calon or to be a candidate in the next election, let alone for negeri, for PRN, or for general election, which is PRU. So I guess for me, I haven't done enough work yet. And I know there's a lot to be done within my capacity as Ketua Parlimen for Parti MUDA, or more specific, MUDA Selangor. I will only justify myself and I will only answer to that question when it's nearer to PRU, which is in 2028 or probably earlier in 2027. But I think for now, what I can say, honestly, is mostly the small things I get to do. Like there's one time also we did this Bulan Ramadan, we used to give out free food just pretty much to the penduduk there who was walking by the stalls in the bazaar, beli makanan, and we actually gave them out, like free water bottles and free snacks and all that. Just something gesture. As long the niyat is there, as long you are ikhlas, people look at it and find it something very sincere, even though you're just giving out snacks and water bottles during Bulan Ramadan. But that is something that I can say I've done that. Even cleaning tamans also in public parks, we have also done that for MUDA Puchong. And I've also did a few like get-togethers in coffee shops and public areas just to all come together and have a cohesion of discussion of things that they are facing in Puchong. So when I listen to it, I will take note and take into account. So in the future, I will help to address it and help to fix it within my capacity lah, and also with the funds that I'm able to get lah, in the near future. So that's all I can say lah for now lah. I can't really add on much to that. Although I have so much dreams that I want to help Puchong, but at this present time, knowing Parti MUDA is so small, we don't have much money also to push into programs and activities. So even me also, one person, I can't do it alone. Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about you mentioned like you have your own dreams for Puchong. You say you didn't have done that much work, but definitely in the past few years, you definitely have done quite a
Oh
bit
yeah.
in terms of grassroots engagement.
Yeah.
And this is more of a personal question here, because we know a lot of younger people trying to enter into politics and finding it to be quite a challenge in of itself. Politics is not a
Yeah.
very simple thing. What are the key, how do you say, lessons that you've learned as a Ketua Parlimen? Like, what are the biggest lessons that you find, and what kind of advice you think is very valuable for any young person trying to get into politics, whether it be in Parti MUDA or Parti UMNO or any kind of
Anywhere
political
else?
party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for the past 2 years, okay lah, I'll just explain and share within my time in MUDA as of today. Within the past 2 years, I've learned that the common man or the rakyat right now, or to be more specific, in Selangor where I reside, people don't like to talk about politics too much. They're actually quite bored of it. They actually don't care. If I want to be very frank, you know what that's on their mind is how much money I can earn every month and how much food I can put on the table for my children, for my wife, and also to take care of my grandparents as well. So being a responsible parent, being a responsible rakyat, I feel that that is what's most important, and all the concerns are not being addressed by now, even until today. Even Anwar Ibrahim is now our Perdana Menteri, also people are still facing a lot of economic issues as well. And so I think that right now, instead of everyone just going on Twitter, being keyboard warriors, saying things they're not happy with, and then they are like blaming and complaining about people, why don't you get off from that chair instead of you playing Twitter and on Facebook? Why don't you do something about it? Why don't you work with the people that you know within your community, within your circle, who can make a difference? Tu yang paling penting. So for the past 2 years, I know a lot of people who think they know a lot about politics, termasuk also in Parti MUDA, some members, they feel they're entitled to talk so much, but in the end, there's no action being done. And I can understand also, sometimes we don't have a lot of money. We don't have rich parents also to move things around. But why don't you do the small things dan bagi orang nampak? And then you can post on your IG, post on your Facebook, post on your Twitter, so that orang boleh macam nampak you memang buat kerja and you really are taking care of the sentiments of the rakyat. So that is the one thing I've learned for the past 2 years, being a Ketua Parlimen from MUDA Puchong. Another thing also I noticed is that people should also resonate with your ideals and your principles as well. More important, your values. I am already going to be 35 in the month of May, but I still look young. Some people say I look like 29 or even 30. So I memang sesuai represent the youth, or in essence, Parti Muda kan. So I guess for me, I always prefer to like have a sit down, listen to the young people. What are the issues that they are facing after they come up from SPM or from school for that matter? Most of them, they come and tell me is that they just want to have a simple, stable job that they can earn good money, so that whatever money they earn, they can still save and still give to their parents. Tu memang wajib lah kalau orang muda lah, right? Nowadays, nobody is lazy. The young kids nowadays in the Gen Z, is it? Was it Gen Y? I can't remember. But I know that they are not lazy. They are not hesitant. In fact, they don't mind to work. It's just that the work that are being offered to them, or what they're able to get, doesn't pay them that much, or doesn't give them that much benefits and allowances and remuneration yang dorang rasa that is enough for them. So at the end of the day, this is where all the young kids become rebellious. Dorang tak rasa dihargai, from whatever job they manage to get. Termasuk the Grab drivers and the Food Panda as well. So nobody is lazy. It's just that there's not much initiatives that they are given to them for them to shine in whatever career they're in. So that is the main concern lah, the young people right now.
Adam, you mentioned just rightly about lack of initiative, I guess, by the government and whatnot. Recently, Menteri Besar Terengganu on Keluar Sekejap, great Kerajaan Madani has failed. Right, so he representing PAS, he's the Menteri Besar. How about Ketua Parlimen, Ketua Cabang Parlimen Puchong MUDA would grade Kerajaan Madani today? As you rightly mentioned, there's lack of initiative for youth. So is that true?
Okay. Before I go into that, I want to mention something about our Menteri Besar in Selangor, Amiruddin. Okay? Because I'm in Selangor, I noticed the things that he is doing, I observe it, so I will share with everyone here listening to it. The thing is that a lot of the schemes, a lot of the initiative kepada rakyat, most of it are copy-paste and being followed through by the former Menteri Besar, Azmin Ali. And Azmin Ali right now is the Dun for Bukit Antarabangsa, which is under Perikatan Nasional, but his party is Bersatu. But what I'm trying to say is that Amiruddin is just following through what are the previous schemes and the initiatives being done by the state of Selangor, but he's being applauded for that. When the person behind it that started all of this was actually Azmin Ali. So I actually have more salute and I would say more, gratitude would like to give to Azmin Ali more than Amiruddin. So to go back on my comment or feedback about Malaysia Madani or the current Kerajaan Perpaduan under Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, I would say there are a lot of things need to be done. It's been almost 1 year plus, I think close to 2 years. So he still needs to fix a lot of the groundwork and the civil servants as well, because there's a high level of corruption in the civil servants departments, especially in all the jabatans. So you must understand, even there's so much that he can clean from the top. It's the civil servants are the ones that needs to be, vet through, in that sense. So, and a lot of the times, if you notice some of the kenyataan, some of his PCs by Anwar Ibrahim, or even some of his top leaders also in his administration, in his cabinet for that matter, a lot of it still have to come from Anwar. A lot of them don't take their own initiative, like Rafizi Ramli. It's like, before he comes up with a statement, he needs to check with his big boss. Hey, Anwar, can I say this? Or can I do this or not? You see? So there's not much initiative being taken by the mentris for that matter. Tengku Zafrul, he's doing whatever he can right now in MITI, but pretty much he still needs to listen to MOF, because MOF is providing that funding to MITI anyway. And anyway, it's under the purview of MOF. So, like I said, a lot of things need to be done. I would say I will only give my rating to Anwar and to Malaysian Madani after the 5-year term. Then I will really say whether he done a good job or not. But one thing I can pinpoint I think most people listening to this podcast boleh resonate Ever since he took office in late November 2022, beginning of 2023, there have been a lot of cases reported by MACC. Datuk Sri being nabbed, a group of businessmen being arrested and charged. That's one thing. So he's actually doing a lot. He's working a lot with the MACC to clean all these corrupted individuals and criminals.
Okay, yes, on that note, because you did give quite a positive outlook for Datuk Sri Anwar over the past nearly 2 years here. So why, in your opinion, why did MUDA decided to split from the unity government? Because MUDA did write a lot on the platform of Pakatan Harapan. Aside from the obvious cases of allying with UMNO and other individuals who have charges pressed against them, do you think there's more of a reason why MUDA has left unity government to go, in a way, solo?
Okay. MUDA did not want to leave Kerajaan Perpaduan or didn't want to say no to be part of the unity government. It was Anwar who never accepted Syed Saddiq or even MUDA to be part of the unity government.
Okay.
Even though Parti MUDA was invited for the convention of Kerajaan Perpaduan early last year, if you guys remembered. In fact, you can always see a lot of the photos that's being tweeted as well. We were invited, Syed Saddiq was being invited in the convention, I believe was WTC if I'm not wrong. But at the end of the day, he still did that PC and he did an open statement because some of the terms that he wanted Anwar to say yes to, And a lot of the things that he wanted to discuss in Anwar and wanted to put into paper was all rejected, was all dibatalkan oleh Anwar Ibrahim. So because of that, Syed Saddiq merajuk, and Syed Saddiq did an public conference and said, you know what, we're pulling out of the unity government because you're not adhering to my terms, me being the president of Parti MUDA, and I'm doing for the best of the rakyat. I'm representing the best of my ability to serve the rakyat's interest. But still, I want MUDA to be part of the unity government, but you said no. Okay, fine, tak apa, lantak lah you. Okay, I keluar. And because of that, we are now out, and we are now the third bloc, or the third force for that matter, which we are still very weak until this very day. And I don't know why they will still do statements. They did statements of wanting to work with Move Forward Party in Thailand and Indonesian Solidarity Party, which has no significance, tak related pun. And they were saying things that was irrelevant in rakyat's interest. So that's why I feel that they should be a bit more quiet, and they should be very careful what they say the next time when they do a public statement or a public conference. Yeah. So that's my answer lah. Now you know what happened lah.
I think MUDA was rejected to join Pakatan Harapan, but as a result, Syed Saddiq bring MUDA out of perpaduan government. So I think he feels, like you said, like he feels very rejected, and then as a result, MUDA pull out from Madani. Do you think a person who make decisions like this on behalf of MUDA, which is whatever 100,000s that you have as a membership, would be able to propel once again? Should he be acquitted or whatever after his charges is relief or whatnot? Do you think he can to bring MUDA to where MUDA is supposed to be?
Wow. Look, I think going back to the earlier question where he was being invited to join the Perikatan Nasional Jelajah after Raya, I think it comes down to him acting in his own personal capacity. A lot of things that he has said, a lot of things that he had publicly commented and openly said is mostly within his own personal capacity, with not much guidance or proper agreement of discussion with the other leaders or with the other people in MUDA. Let's be frank as well. A lot of the co-founders have also left MUDA. A lot of them. And most of them were activists. Most of them work in good, stable jobs, corporate jobs, and even own NGOs for that matter. And a lot of them have left because there's no denying that Parti MUDA equates Syed Saddiq's face. You take away Syed Saddiq's face, what is MUDA? MUDA tu apa? Orang muda. But anything else than that, with the black and white logo, there's nothing much to fall back on. Syed Saddiq is the face of the party. You remove him, there is no 1 + 1 = 2. It's more like 1 - 1 is 0 already for MUDA. So that's why Amira had to step in, and she had a lot of work to do. And she's a dun also. In Puteri Wangsa, you got so much, come up and down, drive up from Johor, then back to KL, then KL back to Johor. It's very tiring. I mean, lucky she got a driver lah, but still. But it's really, really tiring for her to take this mantle. So that's why I think when Syed Saddiq's court case was announced of his, charge, he took the responsibility and stepped down. Now he's just probably thinking like, you know what? Whatever I have at my disposal, I'll just do whatever I can. I don't care what people say about me. I don't care if people are going to whack me. I'll just do what I feel is right, for my own political survival. I mean, let's be honest, if all of us are YBs and MPs, or even Aduns for that matter, we do our very best to keep ourselves afloat, to make sure that we are alive in the political arena, to make sure that we are still relevant. Syed Saddiq is doing TikTok videos to remain relevant. And Syed Saddiq is doing IG stories and IG posting to remain relevant. Otherwise, he'll be obsolete and he'll be forgotten. So there's nothing wrong what he's doing. again, he really needs to actually have a proper sit down and talk to the people people who love him and like him so much for so many years. I know people who actually adore him, that kind of thing. So yeah, just be careful. But if really his decision or the things moving forward right now, Parti Muda won't be much, I tell you, by end of this year. Actually, it pretty much ended already after that PRN. It was a mistake. All the calons that put their names for Muda for Selangor was a mistake. They wasted so much money. One calon in Muda Selangor wasted about 30 to 40,000 ringgit. You bayangkan, their own savings, and they never got 1 ringgit left because that's how SPR makes money out of you. You submit your name for nomination and then you spend with your campaign material, then you spend with your jelajah, pergi sini, pergi sana, jumpa penduduk, tell them, undi saya, saya akan jadi calon yang terbaik untuk you punya negeri dan kawasan, and still lost your money. So that's why. It was a mistake lah, that what MUDA did for Selangor. But yeah lah, let's bygone be bygones.
Just to make a comment here, because I feel in a way Syed Saddiq's situation kind of parallels Dato' Sri Najib in a way after quite lackluster performance of the party, suddenly coming down from the presidential position of the respective parties, and then now facing cases. And Bosku obviously used social media, Syed Saddiq using TikTok to remain relevant here, right? It's quite a neat, it's quite a interesting parallel here. But considering that Dato' Sri Najib was able to get, 50% discount on his royal pardon, do you think there's any chance for Syed Saddiq to be acquitted for any of his charges? Is there a chance for him to come back from this?
Okay. I can't remember the full details of his charges. I believe there were 4 charges. But one specific charge was that he get 10 years in jail, 10 years imprisonment, 10 million, is it, in fine? And then 2 sebat. That means 2 caning lah, to the butt, right? So internally, this is what I've been hearing on the ground lah, like coffee breaks, after buka puasa, people will chit chat about what's the political activities happening right now in Malaysia. I heard that in order for him to, in a way, still survive this, despite the heavy charge and fine, because his lawyer Gobind Singh already submitted the Kertas Rayuan at the Court of Appeal, which I think he should be hearing some verdict and some judgment, I think, by end of this year, if I'm not wrong. But regardless also, whatever happens at the Court of Appeal, it's very likely that Syed Saddiq will still go to jail. Syed Saddiq will probably serve, perhaps, in first 2 years, and under good behavior, he might be released early from his 10-year term imprisonment. Because this can happen also for Najib. Despite Najib getting the 50% of his jail sentence, is it? But I believe also under good behavior, he might be released even sooner. In fact, the last day, the former Agong was going to step down from his throne, he gave that 50% because this is what I heard lah. I mean, I think people have been saying that the Agong is somehow related to Najib. So in a way, he is also helping lah, my good cousins, my good relative, even though the bad things that he have done, but me as Agong, I still have the power to do so. So for Syed Saddiq, just be a good boy. He might just go in, serve at least maybe the first 2-3 years. Under good behavior, he might be released. He might still pay the fine, but he won't get the sebat lah. He probably won't get the caning lah after the Court of Appeal lah.
There you heard it from MUDA party member himself that there will be likely Syed Saddiq end up in prison. So I think we have many other questions to ask, but this is the only time that we have for this time. Of course, there's going to be another appearance by Adam Ariffin in the future, of course. Adi, before we end this episode, anything you would like to say?
I strongly resonate with what Adam said when it comes to the party needing to grow a bit more out of the Syed Saddiq image. And definitely as a party, you don't want it to be sort of a one-man show. The branding has to be the party itself and not just who is this popular person that's leading it or founding it or being in charge of it. And I hope, Adam, you could find a way to break MUDA out of that mode so that it is more than just Syed Saddiq. Because you said if Syed Saddiq was gone, then the whole system collapses. So strengthening the foundation there, I think, will be an uphill challenge for MUDA to come. But yeah, this is from me. Thank you for coming on, Adam.
Last remark from you, Adam.
I guess, of course, the things I've said here, the things that I've shared here is all within my own personal opinion. But some things that I have also mentioned are also very factual because it can happen or it may not happen, looking at circumstances right now. So people really need to, especially for any members of the political party, if you were to say something or do something, have a little bit of integrity, have a little fact checking as well, and always put your, like people always say, right, NATO, right? No action, talk only. But why don't you just do the action and stop talking, And at the same time as well, instead of, again, relying on social media handles like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook to vet your anger, to vet your frustration, to vet your grievances, to vet your problems, why don't you be a solution maker? Be a problem solver, then be part of the problem. So that is my only 2 cents that I want to share. Everyone listening to this podcast or people who are going to end up sharing this video, that kind of thing, always look back, reflect yourself, before you do something, especially when you're representing a political party or an NGO or any association or any persatuan for that matter. Yeah, so that's it.
I hope people of Puchong will be listening to this and pick the suitable leaders for move Puchong forward.
Adam could be Adam could be the second lion of Puchong. You never know.
Definitely.
Inshallah. Hopefully, I'll do my best.
If you like Adam to be on Kopitiam Council again, please comment. If you're listening this on YouTube or in Spotify, please share with all your friends. Also available on Apple Podcasts. So with that episode, please keep engaging on our Instagram and TikTok as well. We post almost every day. So please join in the fun on social media. With that, I'm Haffisz and goodbye for now.